I keep running out of stone every time I go to build. So today I think we're going to be building a mine, something that we can go mining for, different types of stones and materials. But before then, I'm just gonna show you here what I did with that villager. I put it up here and I got it to give me a mending book. So now I have mending on all my gear, and we're definitely going to need that when we do this next project, because there's gonna be a lot of digging involved. So far I've just been using this hole down behind the back of my house to go mining for things, but yeah, it's definitely time to find something different and a different area. I also want to build some type of a building around it. That way I can actually put masons in there, and I'm also going to make some type of a storage system for all the bulk items like dirt, stone, deep slate, anything that you can actually dig up from the ground. So I think I'm going to be building it somewhere in this big plain over here. I want to get it a little bit away from my current location because I did quite a bit of strip mining there, and I want to kind of set it out away from my village because that's sort of what you would imagine a mine to be, just a little bit away from everything. So I think over here somewhere in this area we'll find a place and start digging a big hole. I think right here would make a good spot. I can still see the portal and my house over there in the distance. Plus there's a couple little holes that I'll just expand and go ahead and start making this stone quarry. I'm just gonna let Smelly Ryan over here attached to this post, and then we can start digging. I don't really know how big I want to go. I just sort of have to start digging, and then I'm sort of gonna figure out what I'm doing along the way, and we'll definitely figure it out, and I'll bring you back to it when I know exactly what I'm doing. All right, so I took the first 2 layers of dirt off here, and this is sort of the size that I want. It'll probably go smaller, and it's not going to be super deep, this entire area. I'll probably have like a pretty nice path coming down through here, like winding around, and then maybe a deeper section like right here. And then I'm thinking I'll build like a crane maybe off on this side, and then over here or something I can build like some structures with a place for the masons and everything. And then I also have some ideas for the storage system. I'm gonna have different mine shafts that go off along the walls that will take you to the different Y levels to mine the different things. Like if you want to mine raw iron, you know, you want to go to one level. If you want to go down to deep slate level for diamonds, or whatever the case, I'm gonna have a bunch of different drop chutes with water elevators that bring you to different Y levels. So I think that'll be pretty cool, and there is quite a bit of digging. I don't have a beacon yet, so it'll be a little bit of work, but I really enjoy this. It's quite relaxing to just sit here and mine and get all the resources that I'll always use later on too. I already almost have a double chest full of dirt over there, so that'll be really nice for future terraforming projects to have all this extra resources. So I realized that my shovel was almost broken, and I need more picks. So I'm down here at the skeleton spawner. I bought a bunch of tools from my toolsmith, and I am going to enchant them on this table and add mending to them to get them to the point that I can actually use them to dig without having to come back here, you know, like every 15 minutes from digging. All right, so I've been digging for a little bit here now, and what I did was I just laid it out which area I wanted to be the path that goes down, and then I dug the main pit down pretty deep. And now I'm going to slowly slope this ramp down right here to make it match. And then I think I'm gonna have another area over here. I'm thinking about a crane possibly coming down right here, and then down here it will go deeper, and then down at the very bottom I'm gonna actually make it go underground there. So that's sort of the plan, and then I'll build up the walls and whatnot afterwards, as well as texture and add support beams and everything like that. But yeah, it's coming out pretty nice. I've gone through about 2 pickaxes so far, and I have a bunch of chests full of stone and everything else over there. But yeah, it's turning out really nice. All right, so this path I smoothed out going the whole way down here. And I did run into a cave at the bottom that I'm just gonna have to sort of fill in. And it's gonna come right there to a little platform, and then it'll continue to slope down right into the side of that. I also was thinking that these might be a little bit wide, so I might dig the sides out one more, or maybe two more, to make it a little bit narrower so that the hole's a little bigger as well. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do, but yeah, this is what's coming together, and I think it's pretty cool. So I've been doing some more work on this, and I think I have pretty much everything done as far as the shape that I want. And then down here, I added a little cave entrance in over here, and that's where all the mine shafts are going to be. And then over here, I made a little entrance. I didn't finish it out because I'm not exactly sure what I want, but that's going to be storage for all the bulk stone items that we're going to be digging. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tuff and some concrete powder and andesite and cobblestone to really texture the walls. And then I'm also going to be bringing some spruce pillars in here just to sort of make it feel like it's being held up. And then I'm also going to start working on a crane right here because I think this is a good area for that. And of course, around the outside, I think it would make sense to put like coarse dirt out here because the green grass coming up right up to the edge just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to probably put coarse dirt around the outside edges here just to sort of finish that off. And then over here on this flat section, and it's probably going to go off here a little bit, is where I'm going to do a little bit of a mining shack. So that's the plan. So far this has been coming along pretty nice. It is a little bit more work than I was expecting, but yeah, I like it. So I've been doing a lot of shaping here in this quarry, but I need some darker blocks like tuff and deep slate, and I really don't have a lot. So I decided I'm gonna finish this room down here, which I'll explain here now. That way I can actually go mining for tuff a little bit easier. So the goal of this is there's gonna be a drop chute here and then a water elevator here that takes you down to Y15, and then the same thing which will be here for lapis, gold, and also diamond. And also, of course, diamond is deep slate and tuff level. So those are the four that I want to go to, and this is just sort of here to show what's going to actually be done. I'll decorate it later, but I do need some soul sand for the water elevator, so I need to go get some soul sand before we can do anything else here. Besides the one exploration trip I did after building the portal, I've not really used it at all, so we have a lot of nether to explore to go find a soul sand valley. All right, let's go see what we can find here. I'm not 100% sure what all we're going to find. If I find a nether fortress, I want to make sure that I write that down as well, because that is something that I'm going to need in the future. Wow. Anyway, so not super far from our portal, I found another fortress. I'm not sure how big it is, and I'm not sure if we're gonna explore it today or not. I will probably come back later for blaze rods, because I do need to start getting into some brewing. After a bit of exploring, we finally found a soul sand valley, so I'm just gonna get a bit of sand. The soul soil is also really pretty, so I'm gonna get some of that while I'm here too. Just gonna fill up my inventory, and then we're gonna head back. I don't really need anything else from the nether currently at the moment, so I'll probably just head back and keep working on the mine there. That was a really productive nether trip. We got a lot of soul soil and sand, and also 2 gas tiers, which is always going to come in useful later on. And let's just back over that, and boom. I can't stop doing that. That's so much fun. Anyway, let's go back, drop some of this stuff off at our base then, before we head back over to the mining area. I just realized that we don't actually have any kelp in any of our plant boxes, so we're gonna actually have to go to the ocean and get some kelp. I don't think the ocean is super far away. I think I ran into it once, so I'm gonna go try and get some. That way we can actually make the water chutes, because they need to be full blocks. And it's always easier to use kelp than to try to individually fill it up with water buckets. I've never actually done it before, but now that there's auto crafters in the game, I might actually use kelp blocks blocks because you can autocraft the kelp blocks for smelting. So that's something that I want to look into doing possibly. I know I want to make a kelp farm for sure because kelp blocks are a great building block, but having the ability to automate it, the whole system, including the furnaces and smelting, and then you have the blocks actually used in smelting the new kelp. I think it's pretty cool, and that's probably something that I'll do in a future project. But anyway, we got enough kelp now, so we should be able to head back to our base. All right, we got everything that we need to dig all of these drop chutes as well as water elevators. So let's do the iron one first, and that one's down to Y15. I'm just gonna dig a little room here at the bottom for now. I will come back down here later and make a really cool mine shaft. But yeah, this is gonna be the drop chute, and then we'll put a bucket of water there. That way you don't die. I'll probably put a slab and a stair there as well because you can drop down and hit yourself right there. All right, now that we got water in here, I just need to swim up here and put some kelp to turn it all into full water blocks. That way this soul sand will actually work when it's time to actually put that in here. And then now that I'm down at the bottom, let me just replace that with soul sand, and then the bubbles should start flowing here soon. And just like that, we have a little water elevator, and there we go. Our iron level is complete. Now I'm just gonna do that for the other 3 levels. So I've got all the drop chutes in place, and each one of these goes down to a different level. This one here goes the whole way down to deep slate and a tough diamond level, and then you can just take the chute right back up to the top. This one's a little bit longer than some of the rest, but this works much better than climbing a ladder or stair or something else to get down to the level. And then of course I got all the others as well. And then the next part that I want to do is I am going to be texturing these walls using this gradient right here. I actually realized I forgot to add tough in here. Tough goes right here, and then we're gonna do cobblestone, and then we'll do andesite, and then concrete powder. So it only really works from up top here because the side of this is just not the right one. So I'm just gonna place it like that, so you get that texture versus the side texture. But yeah, I'm gonna be using this gradient here on the walls as well as some dirt. I'm gonna be only using the deep slate and tough really in the corners and cracks like this to make it sort of like have a dark effect. And then in a couple areas I'll do like dark streaks coming down, but most of it is just going to be these blocks right here, these 4 tough cobblestone, andesite, and light gray concrete powder. I'll use the light gray concrete powder to really highlight some of these areas. So that is the next part that I'm going to be working on. So I finally got all the walls textured around here, and I think it looks pretty cool. I especially love the light gray concrete powder. It just gives it that nice pop of color. And I also added these spruce pillars here and all of that, and that looks nice. I will continue to add more of them around here. I feel like it adds contrast as well as kind of makes it feel like it's holding back some of the stone. Right here then I am working on putting the storage system for all our bulk stone items. And then down here I completed this little mine shaft area. I haven't done the floor yet, but each one of these goes to a different level, and that level corresponds with the raw ore that we have. So this goes to the iron ore, this goes to the lapis level, this one of course goes to gold, and then this one to diamond. I think that turned out really nicely. I actually did some of this live on my stream on Twitch, so make sure to follow me there if you want to catch any live streams. But now I'm going to work on making all of these paths here, or the bottom walkway area. So this will be a lot of dirt and grass and other things to make it contrast a little bit the side of the walls here that are all stone. That way the whole pit isn't just completely gray. Of course there will still be some stone on the pathway coming down here, but I'm gonna change most of it to dirt. But that's probably going to take quite a long time, and I do have some extra things I want to build around this area. So let's jump into a quick time lapse. Right, I think the pit is now completed, but the build is not. I still need to build a building over here that I'm going to put all my masons in. And before I do that, I think I'm going to go get 2 of them over there from the village and bring them over here, stick them in a hole and breed them. That way they can kind of breed while I'm building the next build. And before I do that, I just wanted to kind of show off this crane here. I think it turned out pretty cool. I didn't do any pre-planning or anything. I kind of just did it off the cuff and I think it turned out pretty nice. There's like ladders that you can climb up through here, and then of course we have the chains, and then they're pulling out ores from the mine, and that right there is like meant to be able to swivel. You know, it doesn't swivel, but that's sort of what I'm going for, and then you could just like put it over there on the ground somewhere. I do need to finish up around here, but I kind of want to wait till I get the building in here to make sure that I can kind of make everything match. But yeah, I really love this. I think it really turned out amazing. I'm super happy with it and how it looks. But now let's go get some villagers. Being able to use leads on boats is completely amazing. You can go so much faster and actually take 2 villagers with you. I completely forgot about it last time I was dealing with villagers, and then everybody told me in the comments that you could do this. But yeah, I think this is much nicer for transporting villagers around. And we have arrived now. I'm just going to dig a hole right here and stick them down in there with a bunch of beds to try and get, I don't know, maybe like 6 villagers or something. At least for now, I think 6 will be enough. All right, got them in this hole here. Now with the beds, let me just break the boat and sleep the night and then give them some bread in the morning. And hopefully they can turn out a bunch of babies. So by the time I am done building, there will be enough villagers in here to fill the mason hall. All right, now it's time to build the building for the masons up here on the top. I'm gonna start by just laying out some stone squares. I think something sort of like this will work, and this bigger box will be the main structure. And then I'm thinking over here might be maybe an entrance. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do on the interior, but we'll just have to wait and see. So now I'm gonna try and box everything out for the shape and layout of the build, and then we'll connect everything together and texture it up. I'm just gonna add tough blocks in here to start out with as the filler block, and then we'll texture it later. I'm thinking for maybe some visual intrigue, I'm going to actually break that down, and maybe I'll put some wood in here, and maybe I'll do like a door here or something. I could also do a door right here as well, and if nothing else, I'll just use wood as the wall to sort of break it up so that all the walls aren't stone. I'm trying to connect everything together now with the spruce logs. And then of course I'll come back later and texture them up. But this is just giving me an idea of the shape before I try to come up with a roof shape. I think on this build, I'm going to use a copper roof. I think that really makes a lot of sense since this is a mining area and you can mine copper. So I'm also going to be doing it pretty simple with just using stairs. And then once it's all weathered, then I'll come back and scrape it off in a sort of gradient pattern that I want. And then I will actually take a honeycomb and I will wax it. That way it stays in the gradient. So I'm going to do the roof first. That way it can sort of weather while I do the rest of the build. I really like the shape. I think it's simple, but it works. And now we just have to wait for the roof to age. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a lot of detailing. I think I want to use sandstone for the walls. All right, I'm not trying to go for anything too crazy. So this is sort of the palette that I'm going to be going with. This is going to be all the wood colors. I got the mangrove oak and a strip spruce. So I'm going to be texturing all the wood with that. And then here on the bottom, I think I'm going to try to use the tough bricks, stone bricks and andesite. I think that would kind of look cool. And then on the top section there, I'm going to be using birch and some sandstone and smooth sandstone. And then on the roof, I am going to let it age and get sort of a gradient like this. So that's the blocks that I want to use. But now enough talking and let's get building. liking how this is turning out here. Now the roof is taking a bit of time to change colors here, so I think the next part that I'm actually going to do is start working on the interior. I have all the outside texture you can see here, and I'm just going to start laying out the interior, probably put a floor in here and start covering up the roof a little bit, and maybe also change the floor here as well, put a stairway in somewhere. Then by the time we're done with that, hopefully the roof has changed. So now I'm going to try and get some villagers inside of this mason workshop. Let me just actually go ahead and place a rail there, and then I'm just going to break that, and then I can put a rail in here, and hopefully I can push one of these guys in here. This is just like a very rudimentary that is not what I wanted. Okay, well, the minecart decided to go on its own. Let's see here. Do you want to trade with me? Come on. Here. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. And let me just block him off. And then this is just going to go right back in here. Let me just block that. Nope. All right. Let me get this right there. And I'm actually going to just leave them in the minecarts themselves. So I'm just going to break that and then also break that. Then I'm going to put one next to that, and I'll have 6 of them in a row, and I can also put some storage above them. And then in here, I'm not sure what I'm going to put in here yet, but eventually I'll expand and have more of them up here, so I can have like each terracotta type as well as, you know, the glazed terracotta and every type of item that masons would have. Plus, having a lot of masons is great when you're trying to do a lot of bricks and other items. So yeah, let's go get the rest of them and put them in the hall. I've decided to just leave them in their minecarts for now. If I come up with a better design in the future, I might pull them out. This just keeps them organized and also allows me to like name them so that I know which terracotta is sold by which one. And if they're free roaming too much, then it's going to be a little bit annoying to try and find that. The other question that I was having actually while working on this was, I don't actually know if zombies can break down copper doors or not. So I might have to look it up on the wiki, or if someone actually knows the answer, you can comment it below. But I know they can't break down iron doors, but you know, iron doors need the redstone to power it, and I don't actually know with copper doors if zombies can break it down. So I hope that they can't, because that would actually be really nice to have a door like that that's not breakable. Let me go ahead now, and we're gonna decorate this up and put in some new flooring, and that should really be all the interior that we needed to do. And then here on the outside, I want to add some more decorations, and you can see the roof is almost fully colored, so we'll soon be able to go over it with an axe before we wax it. So that looks pretty nice, and I think I want to add a couple more details on the back here, do some terraforming to the stone yet, add a couple paths in here. I might also make a little wooden platform that sort of sticks out here. I think that would make sense, and maybe like finish this path around here so it's not quite so dangerous. But yeah, we're getting really close to being done with this, and I am super happy with this build. It's honestly one of my favorite projects that I've done in a while. Just a full project like that with a build and all the terrain and stuff that we did around here. But yeah, let's get back to work. All right, so I cleaned up the terrain a bit out here and sort of matched it in with the rest of the landscape. Back here, I actually made some different piles of different stones for the masons to be working on doing some cutting out here. And then right here, I made this wagon, which I'm pretty proud of. I actually really like it. Something that I don't see a lot of people use is the lightning rods as axles. So as long as you place a full block above it, you can use this instead of having to use trapdoors above the wheels, and I find that actually looks really, really nice. And then of course we have some stones strapped down to the wagon. Then on the interior here, I just put some birch wood down. I feel like it contrasts nice with the spruce. That way it doesn't feel too dark. I got all my masons in here in a row, barrels above for storage, and then right here would be kind of like a shelf to put finished pieces of stone, different stone cutter variations sections and some storage under the steps here. Then upstairs, I will eventually fill this all up with masons as well, because I will probably need around 16 or more, just so I can get lots of blocks really quickly when I'm working on a build. One last thing that I did add that I had forgotten to add earlier was this little bridge right here, and it's just carrying a minecart back and forth, back and forth. It kind of adds some movement, makes it feel like a mine, and I think that turned out pretty cool. And then down here, it just adds some more intrigue to the area. So I really like it. I like doing more of these designs that have movement and add sort of intrigue to the game. Then of course in here I have all my storage set up, and I did actually mine quite a bit of stone from this project, actually digging the hole, which is going to be nice for later projects. Coming back up here, you can now see the build has changed the roof color. So now we are ready to go ahead with our axe and scrape it off and then wax it. So I only have one shot at this because after I take off something, I can't put it back on. So I think I'm going to start at the top with the fully oxidized, and then I'm going to make it feel like it's sort of dripping, and then down here at the bottom will be less oxidized. So let's start just scraping some of this off and see how it looks. I think that worked out pretty nice. I'm just gonna add like 1 or 2 more completely scraped off. Now I just have to come in here and wax all the blocks that I scraped off. Obviously, if it has been completely oxidized, I don't need to wax it. All right, and that side is complete. Now we can do the other sides. And just like that, the build is all completed. I really had a lot of fun building this project. It was one of the bigger ones that I have ever taken on in survival, especially in the time frame that I did it. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.